So I was just thinking. Hello and welcome to I Was Just Thinking, a podcast about creativity and confidence. It's for all creatives, people who want to make and not feel shit about making things and putting things out there. We talk about creative blocks and we talk about all kind of aspects of what causes creative blocks and what causes insecurities as an artist. It's a big topic and there's a lot to talk about. My name is Lina, aka LNA. That's my artist name because I'm a musician, sound designer, performer, DJ, content creator, author of a book, My book is called Creative Confidence and Music Production Overcome Your Insecurities. It's about the same topic, but it's aimed for music producers and musicians, but it has a lot of sections in the beginning that is suitable for all creatives. Basically, I worked on it 5 years and I poured all my soul and knowledge what I have about the topic in there to help people to open up these topics. And now I'm making a podcast about it, because these things need to be talked about more. Today's topic is social media as an artist. Whew. It's a big topic. As someone who has done YouTube as one of my main jobs in the last 6 years, I have a lot to say about this topic. And I'm sure we will be talking about this more. So please, if you want to be part of this podcast, I will be reading couple letters or a letter or a voice note in every single episode. So please send me your thoughts about these topics into Instagram at Lina Thinks, Lina, 2 I's, Lina Thinks. And I will be picking couple messages per episode. So we're going to talk about social media, and let's just start with a letter. I have 2 letters for today. Let's start with this one, and I'm sure that this will give us a nice start to some thinking. Being an artist today means being a content creator first, or at least it feels like that way. You don't just make music or art, you package it, promote it, and hope the algorithm gods smile upon you. And yes, social media can be great. It connects you to people, gives you a platform, helps you reach an audience without middleman. But it also turns creativity into numbers game. One day you feel like you're building something, the next day the engagement tanks, and suddenly it's like you don't exist. That describes my last 6 years. One sentence. I guess the trick is remembering why you started, because if social media is the only reason you're making art, you're in for a rough ride. Oh my God, I relate so much. One day you feel like you're building something, the next day engagement tanks, and suddenly it's like you don't exist. In the past 6 years, I've grown my YouTube channel, LNA Does Audio Stuff, into currently I think it's in 72,000 followers, subscribers, and I have over 1 million views. It's actually a lot more now, I think. But I've had a lot of views in there. I had a lot of attraction, but it's been a journey. And I have a lot of opinions about social media, how it's affected myself, my art. So I'm trying to think here how to even get started with this. So I want to talk about it maybe from my artistic perspective, because that's been something that I've been dealing with the most in the recent years. Is it recording? Yes, it's recording. I was worried that the podcast actually wasn't recording. As an audio engineer, I think that would be one thing I should get right. Is recording the actual audio. So I think when I started YouTube, right, and doing social media, I didn't really knew why I was starting it for. I think there was a lot of goals of like, I needed to get to 100,000 subscribers. I felt like that if if I just get to 100,000 subscribers, I feel valid. I feel like I've achieved something. It just felt like the goal I needed to get to feel some kind of internal validation or external validation that makes me feel like I matter. The thing is, I have always seen myself more as an artist than an educator. But the thing about YouTube or social media is that you need to pick a thing and stick with it, because that's the kind of only way to grow anything in there, is to keep on doing similar type of content consistently forever so that you can actually grow in any kind of direction. I started by just doing goofy little videos my first year. That was just really much like researching what kind of content I want to make. The second year, I started to make tutorials, and the tutorials started to get a lot of views. So I started teaching more, and I was actually a lecturer in a university at one point as well at those times when I started it. So teaching was very much the point where I first earned money because I needed money to live. So it was quite clear solution of like get into teaching because I needed to live. But secondly, it was also the thing that started to, gain attraction on my YouTube channel. So it was a very clear way to do that. And don't get me wrong, it's absolutely, there's so many aspects of it that I do enjoy, because obviously as a woman in audio, it's very rare thing to see a woman in audio. So it's the amount that I got like messages, and I still get messages from, a young girl, or not even young, any gender minority really, who send me a message and be like, because of your videos, I had the courage to start doing music production. And that feeling is incredible. So there's so much power in it of like starting something like that. But during those years, I started to change quite a lot. When I started my YouTube channel, I didn't really know what my artistic direction was or who I was as an artist. I was really lost in my identity generally. What is it that I want from life? What kind of life do I even want? I was really like questioning a lot of things. I feel like a lot of it was the power behind making videos was a lot coming from this need for validation. So example, the first 3.5 years, I took the consistency advice very literally, and I started posting a video once a week, and I didn't take a rest. So I posted Christmases, holidays. I was on a beach and thinking beach holiday and thinking how to post the video. So I became quite obsessive over it, because what happened is that the numbers and the statistic on the YouTube started to be like so part of like validating, made me feel like my worth was literally attached to the numbers. So when the arrows were up, I felt like I'm doing something good, I can relax. When the arrows went down, I felt like I was a disappointment, I was a failure, I wasn't doing enough. And I did that 3.5 years of posting once a week without failure. And it drove me to the point where I was asking like, why am I doing this? I literally was so stressed that I was like collapsing. Like it was not worth it, and the content wasn't great anymore, and it just didn't matter anymore. So I wasn't doing art for myself. I was doing content for the sake of views and the sake of popularity, not the sake of myself. And that was the point where I needed to start thinking like, what is it that I want? If I want the 100,000 subscribers, why do I want it? What was the purpose of it behind this goal? Who am I asking validation from? Is it like, who am I trying to prove anything with it? Who cares if I have 100,000 subscribers? And that's about the time on when I started therapy. And from that experience of going to therapy quite regularly in the past years, I've started to find answers to these questions. Why would I do it? Why was I chasing 100,000 subscribers? And all these questions have turned into answers, and these answers have turned into new goals, focusing more on my own art and doing social media from the lens of an artist sharing what I do, rather than doing content of an artist who's trying to become an artist for the sake of the views. This might sound very vague, or like what's the difference between those two things? But there's a big difference. So, example, on my YouTube channel, now, even though I'm going to keep it as a tutorial channel, I have started another YouTube channel, which is just my art. So it's just my music videos, my DJ live sets, and so on. But on this tutorial channel, all tutorials are still through my own art. It's sharing what I'm excited at the moment. It's showing my recent techniques that I have figured out. It's still me helping and educating people to feeling inspired and excited about things that I've excited about. So I give myself more time to make art than I give myself more time to make videos. So example, for Instagram, I have started to try and now do once a week that I have a session where I will explore different kind of instruments. I have a lot of synthesizers, a lot of things that I haven't had the time to properly try because I've been making so many videos. So now I'm giving myself a couple hours just to play around with the instruments and figure out what kind of sounds I can make. Then when I find sounds that are awesome, I set up the camera very fast, put lights a little bit, and this takes maybe 10 minutes now because I have a lot of experience with it. So obviously you need to realize that with when you have less experience, cameras and light can take more time. But also, I film with my phone. Like, phones are absolutely fine. But yeah, I have something that I have been excited about, my art, something that I feel cool about, and now I just take a little clip of that and share that on social media. And the funny thing is, my videos have started to be so much more popular when I started to just share my passion, because it's authentically relating to people a lot more, because they are also, the art and the music that I share in them is a lot better because it comes from, my artistry, and not because I try to make a track really fast for a tutorial video just because I needed to make a tutorial video. And that's the difference. It's that idea that I live this life for myself. And the thing is that if you're happy in the things that you do for yourself and you keep on doing things for yourself, you attract things. Because people, if you chase for success, it's really much harder to receive that, because it's not even clear for you what success is. But passion and just doing things attracts success, because it just follows. It's a side effect of you keep on doing what you love year after year after year after year. And it doesn't even feel that exhausting, or it doesn't even feel that like you're chasing something, when you just live and do things that you actually love and you feel passionate about, and you just share with people. And that's where the crucial change is in my mentality. And as much as I say this, and I have realized this, the reality is that it's really hard to come in action, because I have moments where I feel like I do care about the stats. I care how many followers I have. I have those moments, but that also just makes me human. It makes me human that sometimes I feel that, I put so many years and so much energy of making these videos. And, I have 70,000 subscribers, but then there's some person who's done it for a year and they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. How is that fair? And me sharing, it's really interesting because me sharing that kind of truth about my emotions, that's just how I feel sometimes. It doesn't mean that I think about that all the time. It's just those moments where I feel like I need more validation. I just feel a bit more like I would love a little bit more appreciation, even though that's so attached from reality, because in reality, I get a lot of validation and a lot of appreciation because there's bloody 72,000 people who subscribe to my channel, and I have I have a family of Patreons who absolutely support everything I do. It's just human to feel sometimes jealousy and sometimes all these things. But the big thing is I don't feel it all the time now. I feel it really rarely now because it does come, but it's more rare than feeling more balanced and grateful for what I have and what I have achieved. Because now when I'm doing things I love, it's easier to see, and I do the content from the perspective of my art. It's easier to see my growth and be happy for my growth and see like where I was 1 year ago and 2 years ago. It's easier to focus on that because I'm not focusing on the numbers and just finding validation from somewhere else and finding external validation. Actually, even though it's mostly like internal validation, I need a drink. Tea. That was like, social media, I need a drink. It's, I feel like I can't in half an hour. I'm not going to be able to talk about this whole topic because it's so big. So I'd love some questions, maybe, if you have for me. About, social media, about doing art as an artist in social media, about how it affects creativity. There's so many things. How it affects creativity so much. Because, one thing, before I read the last letter, I just want to say, one thing that I was interviewing a lot of artists into my book. And there was a lot of people who said that there was actually quite a lot of YouTubers who I interviewed for my book. And many of them said exactly the same thing, which was that after they gained a certain amount of followers, like hundreds of thousands of YouTube or Instagram following, it became a lot harder to change who you are, or they become this like pressure of who do you think you are, or what the followers expect from you. And part of me was then thinking I'm actually quite happy that in the last 6 years where I've been so lost, that I didn't get a viral moment. I never got a viral moment in my life. I'm actually really happy about that because that means that I have my crew who accepts who I am and the fact that I change. I'm still looking for who I am, and everybody's constantly looking who they are. Everybody constantly grows. There's not a set thing that we can change. We can when I find that thing, I will never change. That will be who I am. No, I think we will find aspects of life that we do find for a longer time that this is my thing. So example, musically, I've now figured out that melodic and progressive and organic house is very much my thing. But will it be forever? I don't know. I can't say that. But right now, that feels so right for me as an artist. But would I have found that if I would had a viral moment? So actually, people expecting or wanting viral moments, and especially if you're not done social media, are you emotionally equipped for those moments? Because I look at sometimes I'm in my early 30s and I deal with, hate comments and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking how can a 19-year-old person or early 20s, when I was so lost, I was so insecure in those ages because you feel so lost still in yourself and who you are and what's your place in the world and what is the world. And then dealing with hate that comes with hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, I get hate, but I also get more love than I do hate. And this is something that you need to remember, that in internet, as much as hate is loud, but love exists in such a big volumes as well. But you need to see it and you need to look for it, because if you only just think that the internet is full of hate, that's what you're going to see. But there's so much love, but you need to kind of look for it a little bit, because it's a little bit quieter than what hate is. Okay, that's like almost a whole new topic, hate comments. We can totally talk about that. Let's read the second letter. From a podcast listener. Social media messes with my head. That first sentence is already like, me too. Me too. I think that could be just the letter and be like, yep, relatable. I'll post something I'm proud of, and within minutes, I'll checking for likes, reading into every comment, wondering if I should have worded it differently. This is too relatable. It's like my work isn't fully real until it gets reactions. So true. And I hate that, because I know I shouldn't need validation to create. But when your art is tied to algorithm, when numbers decide if people even see what you make, it's hard not to get sucked in. I miss the days when I made things just for me. Maybe I need to figure out how to do that again. Oh my God, I relate to so much. And you know what's actually helped me so much with this whole topic? Because it's so normal to be like, hey, I've been working so hard on this video, I'm putting it out, and it doesn't get the reaction I'm expecting it to. Because it means only something to me. It's so personal. It's so like, I put so much into it. But the fact is, nobody cares about us. Nobody cares what we do, what kind of videos we do. And everybody does the same thing. And I know that can sound a bit depressive or sad or somehow like shit perspective, like negative. That's the word I'm trying to look for. But actually, I want to twist it into positive, because that's how I see it. I see the fact that nobody cares what you do and everybody does it. The world is oversaturated with art and all that. I wouldn't say, firstly, it's oversaturated. I would just say it's saturated. And secondly, no one cares what you do is a positive thing, because that means you can do whatever you want. Obviously, don't be shit to people. Don't be mean. Don't steal. Don't be shit to people. But everything for yourself, all these dreams and everything that you wanted to do, just do them. Because nobody will come and pick you up. Nobody will nobody will knock your door and be like, hey, let's do your dreams. No, you are responsible of your own success and of your dreams. You are the only one who can do those things. So use that as a motivation, is that usually if people have opinions, it's because they didn't have the courage to do what you are doing. Just do it. What was the other point? I had lost my thought process. Nobody cares. And I had such a good point. I'm going to read another sentence from this letter, so maybe it comes back. I'll post something I'm proud. Social media messes with my head. I'll post something I'm proud of, and within minutes, I'm checking for likes, reading for every comment, wondering if I should have worded it differently. Oh yeah, now it came back. It's like my work isn't fully real until it gets a reaction. That's the sentence I wanted to say about. we feel like the saturation of industry, so whether that is music, whether that is art, literature, whatever, we feel like we are one of many, and everybody's constantly saying you need to be different to pop out from the mass and so on. So it's almost creating this like us versus me versus them scenario of like, I need to be better, I need to be something more to be recognized, to get that success. But if you think about it, it's possible that because art is subjective, and because art is so about perception, about branding, about situation, about time, some art can be now not popular, but in 20 years that can be popular. It's so subjective toward everything, to the circumstances, what it was created in, who it was created by, the influence of that person, the money, industry. Like, all art is valid. Every single art, the saturated population of all those artists make valid art. And you're no different than everybody else, because your perspective is as important as every other person's. And I'm saying this as the most positive way ever. That you are special exactly as you are. And it's just about the circumstances of whether masses will see you or you will not be seen by masses. But that's not a definition of worth of your art. If you want to be successful in a measurement of top 1 artist in the top 10, scale, your success is defined maybe by that, but not the value of your art. But if you will get to the top 1, that's very circumstantial. That's very also luck. It's about luck in where you be born, which country, how you look, your gender. It's about like so many aspects of, when you found it, like your age. There's so many aspects of how things come together for you to be in that position that you want to be in. So something that I've noticed, example, I have a Patreon community with hundreds of people, and we have a monthly challenges where we create a track. So I give the people a challenge, and it's all about creative confidence for musicians. So if you want to join us, come and join us. So every month I give people a challenge to make, example, a track in using only 6 tracks or something like that. And then we come together and we listen to the tracks and we talk about them. And the thing is that everybody is all the time like thinking firstly that there's a right or wrong. And I keep on saying there's no failure in creativity, because I'm nobody, even though it's my group and I built this, I'm still nobody to say if it's a bad or good track. It's not mine to say, because who made me the gatekeeper of all music and all art? Nobody. Art is subjective. And what I've noticed is that I have so many absolutely talented Patreons. Each one of those people would deserve hundreds of thousands of people listening what they are making. Absolutely, they would deserve it, because it's gorgeous. Like, the stuff I've heard in this group is incredible, honestly. And what's that made me realize is that, yes, it's saturated. The industries are saturated because there's so many amazing people doing their thing and their art. And isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that amazing that there's so many people doing that? So don't compete with them. Just be yourself. Oh, this podcast is ending in like 5 seconds. Just be yourself. I don't know what else to say. Come and say hi at Instagram at Lina thinks. I think that